Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's April 19th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And we really had a range day today. You can see the lows were the overnight lows basically, and the highs were inside the overnight highs. We almost made a perfect double bottom here. I mean, it's really close. Um, and at the top, we never could quite get back to we missed it by a point or so, but it doesn't matter. Same thing. Everything stayed within the overnight lows and highs, and you can see that we had a pretty nice trend down here, pretty nice trend down up, and this was a really nice trend here. And this was a fairly easy, at least on my chart, it was easy to spot and catch that one. I really didn't know it was going to take off like that, but if you just caught one of these entries here today, that's all you really needed, especially if you caught a runner. So. But either way, not a lot of trades today because really from 10 o'clock until noon, it was just all downhill here. And if you didn't get in early, there really wasn't a good opportunity here, at least not on my chart. But let's back out. We'll talk about the trades that there were here. Um, Again, not a lot of them, but the ones that are here are really good. So, um, first one I saw, there's a failed second entry long here. Notice we had a channel working up. We did have a slight close outside a couple of different times here and moved to a new high. But what we got, you got a first entry, pullback, second entry, it fails. And this set up right at 7 o'clock. So if you were here, you almost, I mean, this is a tempting long. You could have taken it, would have worked if you wanted. But it was before 7 o'clock, so really the best opportunity is this short. That's a perfect setup bar. Uh, Close on this very low. Just put your stop there, and it's quickly off to the races. And then you had another breakout pullback short here, and it's right off that trend line. Um, it didn't. It actually went a couple bars before it broke lower, but I like that one for a short still, because you really got two measured legs down and a failure there, and it's a breakout pullback short across there as well, and it's off that trend line. So I like that one, and there's actually two legs in there. It's a second entry on a smaller chart, but don't, if that doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. It's really a first entry on this chart. And again, that was a nice move down. And then this one coming up, this is, you got a little close outside here. It's real iffy. There's a close outside, move to a new high, and then it's sold off. It is a first entry, but it didn't matter because look at all those matching highs and that little failed break higher and turn down. And so you're looking for a retest of the low anyway. So I like that one for a short. Because it's that little failed break higher, and you got plenty of room for this low. And it's a quick, easy, another quick, easy move, really. And then we bounced. There's a nice failed second. Notice that you're moving up. You get a first entry, pullback, second entry, but that bounces right off of that trend line, right up through there, off those first few closes and opens right there. And it's a failed second entry short. It does close inside the trend line. So I like that one. It's right off, and it's right off that trend line. We do pull back again here, but you're going long right into what's a little double top. It's kind of a break. It's a breakout pullback long from this area because this was still kind of in play right across there. You can see prices playing both sides of that. So it's a breakout pullback long. Um, it's, it probably could be. It's not a real bullish bar, so I'm not even gonna make it green, but it's really close. If you wanted to take that one, you get a better second entry here, and there's another little double bottom right there, and you get that little failed break. You get that little push lower right there, and then that reversal bar. So that's a second entry long, again, right off the trend line. Um, this is a huge bar, so you really had to use this one. If you wanted to, if you could get in here with a limit order once it broke higher, I'm okay with it. I wouldn't put a stop way up here. If you couldn't get in up there, I'd skip this trade. And again, you got to be careful once you get up here about entering anymore. And you can see what happened. We just ran into that resistance. It's tempting to go short right there because we double tested that twice. But we're not that far away from the EMA. And this is really going sideways. And that's not the greatest signal bar. You could look at that as a trap maybe. So maybe I should give that one a green one. There's some reasons to consider that one. I'm not crazy about it, but it should probably be green. So I'll go ahead and mark it green. Because I'm sure some of you are going to ask me about it probably as well, because it does fit the double test rule, because you got the high and you tested it twice. And you're far enough away that you probably could get out of there in case it bounces right at the EMA. But so I'll give that one a green. And then we tried to go higher once and then twice, and so that's a failed second entry long basically there. And that's the first break of that trend line little channel working there, and that's a very bearish bar. And again, notice those little matching highs, multiple ones across there. And there's 3 of them right there, and we get that one little tick, just go short right there. You know you're going to try to make a new low, and we may head all the way to the other side. We didn't in this case, but it's still a quick, easy entry with several points for runners on it as well. And so a good place to think about exiting would be this support resistance area again right here. And notice how we bounced right off of it. So that would have been a great place to consider exiting right there. And you could almost go long there. You got your break, a new low, and you actually get a second entry here. It does make a little bit lower low, but you can see that it's just so close there. I'm not going to mark it, and plus it's all closing below that trend line coming down through, so I'm not going to mark it. But you could have considered it. I don't have the trend line on here. You can see that trend line working right up through there, the break, the new high. And not only did it make a new high, again, you got those where your support's coming across, you get that little one tick higher, and then it turns and goes right out the other side. Just have your stop waiting on that. And man, the bottom just falls out. So you catch a runner there. And you could have ridden this all the way down, but you get another chance right here. In case you missed that one, it comes back. And this one, there's also a little trend line working right up through there. And you actually get a close outside. You tried to go higher twice there and you couldn't get it. But this is a trap. When it breaks above that bullish bar right there, you're not looking for a long yet. It did bounce off these lows, but it's right at the EMA. And look how this is what your reversal pattern, look how that pushes through, just comes back and it tests it twice and turns down. Look how bearish that is, and there's a nice trap right there. I really thought it would go out the other side all in one bar. It didn't quite, but it was just a second before it broke through. And this thing just rocketed on off, and it took off. And look at that thing go. That's a great setup right there. And there's multiple points out of that. This thing went all the way down to 2085 basically from 2093. So that's a nice move. About 8 points there. So, and then it bounces. And notice where it bounces. Right across that overnight low. Right there. And you get a nice little reversal bar. You're a good bit away from the EMA is the main reason I like that one. And you've got your break and a new low. So I like that one. It probably could be green. It's real close there, but I'm going to leave it blue. I liked it. And then notice what happens. First entry, second entry, it fails. This is a really big bar, so you might have used a limit order. Notice it came back, and you could have gotten filled all the way back to here before it took off again. You do get your break here, but you got plenty of room looking for a new high. And this turns out to be a fairly nice move up. Then we just start going sideways. And notice that new high after the break in the new high, and you get your double test rule. And then you got a little smaller inside bar. I like to go in short there, trying to get out before you get to the other side. Another trader talked about, I think he was talking about a long here. He said at 1403, which should be 203 my time. Yeah, if that was before 2 o'clock, you could take that long because now you got the break and the new low of this little channel here. But more than that, you got a failed break out because we're really going sideways. But it's making lower highs and lower lows, so it's really a downtrend. There is there are a lot of matching highs across here. So, yeah, you could take that. I don't think it's a great trade. He called it a trap. It's not really a trap on my chart. It's just the move down was over. And it is after 2 o'clock, so I didn't even mark it. But if you want to go along there, I mean, it's borderline being almost green on my chart, unless you've got a lot better entry. I just don't see it quite the way you described it, but maybe you didn't point it out on a chart, so I'm guessing that, but I'm still guessing that's what you're talking about. And maybe you had something different there. Maybe yours looks a little bit different, and that's okay. And somebody sent me an email the other day, and I get a lot of them. People just get all hung up because they're used to looking at time-based charts, and every time-based chart looks exactly alike. They have to because they all start on a certain time and they end on a certain time. Well, tick-based charts are not based on time at all. They're based on the number of ticks that occur, the number of trades basically, and it's really complicated. If you want to Google that and read about ticks, and every broker may count them slightly different. You'd have to start your chart at the exact same time mine started, and it's just almost impossible. So they never look exactly alike. And a lot of times people have these channels on charts that I can't even find. It doesn't matter. If you're reading it properly on your chart can be a little different than mine. Just like right here, you could see this as a channel or a range. It didn't matter. You traded it either way. It still worked. So the stuff will still work, but your chart's never going to look exactly like mine. You can probably get close. And your historical data, depending on when you open your chart, may look exactly like mine up until when you open the chart. But then going forward, it's going to probably start to look a little different. And I've actually had people ask me that question before, like, my data, after I reloaded my chart, my data changed. Well, that's because you reloaded a different chart. You reloaded. I'm sorry, I can't get that word out. You reloaded historical data, and it was different than your data. And so, yes, your chart's different because you cannot make these things look exactly alike. It's almost impossible. So, but it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. As long as you understand what we're doing, I could trade your chart, you could trade mine, and you still come to the same. You'd still find the trades. There might be some that look better on my chart than yours, or vice versa, but it doesn't change anything. I could trade your chart just as easy and do the same thing on your chart as I'm doing on mine. I just might be a few different trades. So don't let that kind of trip you up. Don't get hung up on that because you're not going to get your chart to look like mine. It is absolutely impossible because of the nature of the charts and the way these bars set up. So enough about that, but that's pretty much it today. Not a lot of trades today, but they're all ones, there's some really good ones in here, but not a lot today. And this is a range type day, so you can trade it both ways, really. Just trade the trend whichever way it's going. And if you're going sideways, back and forth across the MA, you can trade it both ways. So, but that's what I saw today. Not as great as it was yesterday, but still, you only have to catch one trade like that with a runner and exit down here at the overnight low, and you would have exited within a tick or so of the low and been done. And, you make a nice profit off one trade. And if you caught this one as here and added on here, then you're really added a new set here, then you've got a couple of runners that are just rocketing on. So you only got to catch a trade or two like that. But anyway, I'm not going to beat around the bush today. I'm going to wrap it up a little later, getting it done today. I'm trying to do these a little earlier in the day and get out of the office a little earlier, especially now that it's summertime and it doesn't get dark till later. But Anyway, I'm a little later today at 6 o'clock, and I'm just now wrapping this up at my time. So I'm going to wrap it up and call it a day, and we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. But this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.